June 2020 recommendations. So I guess you could say my month has been slowish. One of the slowest months this year, actually. I got to the BTS meal, didn't get the cute packaging, of course, but the sweet chili sauce was incredible. I also found that TikTok filter that makes everybody hate themselves.
Credit card? ID? I'm so freaking pissed.
Ma'am,
First of all, I go to Dr. Dorfman, he totally messes up my nose job. I ask him to make me look like Gwyneth Paltrow. I get off the surgery table looking like freaking Shrek.
Also decided to take my makeup off and try it again, and it made me feel even more worse, to be honest.
Ma'am,
First of all, I go to Dr. Dorfman, he totally messes up my nose job. I ask him to make me look like Gwyneth Paltrow. I get off the surgery table looking like freaking Shrek.
I found my TikTok from high school, which was actually Musical.ly back then, and that's cringy, and I can't figure out how to delete it.
Ew. Oh my god. I literally cannot. Ugh. Oh my god. What?
Hey, Patrick, are you angry too?
Yeah,
What's the matter?
can't see my forehead.
All right. This white devil thing has gone far enough. Nobody messes with the dude.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so happy because I'm a gummy bear. Gummy bear.
But I have instincts, Spike, and my instincts tell me we're getting closer. I can feel it. I can feel it like it's right in my neck. Run! Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Do you want to build a
No! God, please, no! No! No!
It's also Pride Month, so happy Pride Month. Yes section. Invincible. Okay, so I assumed this was just going to be your normal superhero show. It appeared to be that until his dad murdered this show's version of like the Avengers. And I was like, oh, so this is very different. Basically, his dad was sent from another planet to take over Earth, and our main character, Mark, aka Invincible, is all that stands in his way. To be honest, the show is very, very bloody, to the point I wasn't expecting it, where I was like, whoa. Didn't bother me. I was just, I hope to see a lot more of this. The fight with him and his dad at the end broke my heart. It almost killed me. It appeared that he actually does love his son a little bit, but, he's still hitting his son, so, I don't know. Bad twin. This woman's sister gets taken away for mental health problems, and her sister decides to take her twin nieces, and one's evil, just like the mama. Studio 54. The nightclub every person obsessed with documentaries and history would know about. One of the greatest nightclubs ever. It's never been my thing. I don't participate in that kind of thing, because I'm a nerd, so I don't do that. But it must have been really cool to experience this. But I guess the documentary will have to do. Sweet Blue Flowers, sweet adorable love story as wholesome as it gets. 13. Based on a Filipino comic about a woman working on both sides of a secret war between humans and the supernatural after her dad lies about her past, causing a major problem in both the human world and demon world. And now, for a list of the ID documentaries I've seen this month. Who Killed the Co-Ed in an ID murder mystery? Rebecca Zahau, an ID murder mystery. Madeline McCann, I don't know. An ID murder mystery. Little Boy Lost, an ID mystery. The 1990s, The Deadliest Decade. This is also on ID, but this is like a series-style documentary that highlights the news media's favorite murders and headlines, a lot like the 1980s version of this. Killer inspiration. A killer uses this woman as his muse and basically kills other women that look like her because he loves her. Which, yeah, let that try and make sense. Ghost Lab. So this guy wants to prove that ghosts are real, so bad that he kills himself to prove it. Like, going a little too far for research, my man. Kenshin the Final. I'm a huge fan of the manga and original anime, like from, 1992? 96? I don't know. I also love the live-action trilogy, and didn't think that they needed another movie because the story was kind of ended pretty good for movies, as I thought. It didn't need to do much, and it didn't really add much to the movies we've already seen. But it had such good fight choreography. It always does, so it's just good to watch. Kenshin's wife's brother, or ex-wife, because, you know, brother, Inishi Yukishiro, I think was his name, who, by the way, is very, very fine. I thought he was fine with his little Elton John glasses, but when he took off his robe, holy, he had a very large vein on his arm to avenge the death of his sister, which was, but also wasn't Kenshin's fault. It is, but then it's not, but they explain it. But they called it a final, so I guess this is where it ends, supposedly. However, the Japanese poster actually says the final, the beginning, so it could be the beginning of another story. However, basically the final of this one, so you never know what they're gonna do. When movies do that, they probably are gonna see how it goes at the box office. The Night Manager. The Down did a much better review of this and the book it's based upon, but basically he goes undercover to take down a big weapons dealer. Kitty Love, an homage to cats. A documentary about how amazing cats are. An homage to cats, if you will. And I have 3, so I understand how amazing they are. They make my life so happy, and I'm so thankful for all of them. Iron Fists and Kung Fu Kicks. A documentary about the action movie boom of like the 60s and 70s. Kung Fu movies and the surging of a new culture of movies. To be honest, this was basically what I grew up on, stuff like this. So I guess Kung Fu movies and all of that is what inspired a lot of my favorite action movies and stuff. And that's kind of what I grew up on, which is why I want to try and start watching more of them than ones I haven't seen yet. Armed Swordsman. After seeing that documentary, I wanted to try and rediscover more of these types of movies that I watched with my dad growing up, and I want to revisit the genre because I haven't in a while. Nurses Who Kill, documentary about killer nurses. Actually a very scary thing because they're supposed to be saving your life. Collateral Beauty. Man, this was sad. Like, I thought this was going to be a comedy. But no, after losing his child, he writes to death, time, and love. His friends hire people to pretend to be them to cure him, but they actually could be real at the end because of the way they were positioning themselves. Psychic School Wars. This was very, very confusing, with a very unsatisfying ending, actually. But good lord, this thing is animated so beautifully. It's worth the watch, just for the animation. I think it's also based on a book, aren't they all? But, you know, drifting dragons. So these drifters hunt dragons and eat them. Dragon meat is the most expensive meat in their world. Story is more touching and grounded as time goes on. With enjoyable characters, it's very easy to watch. Chicago Typewriter. A very famous writer receives a haunted typewriter. It's haunted with his past self, who wants his own story to be told. The Wind. This movie was all over the place, and it took a long time to figure out what was going on, but I thought it was werewolves at first because it's an IBC or, yeah, whatever that's called, movie, and you know, they love werewolves, so I thought it was that, but no, it's not. For the most part, they are what we are going to call prairie demons, a type of demon that makes people living on the prairie go insane or something. It's not explained extremely well, but yeah. Isle of Dogs. All the dogs have a mysterious sickness which is caused by the mayor, but you don't know, you aren't supposed to know that yet. They take the dogs to an island, and this movie is honestly hilarious and heartfelt, and I don't know if it was just the version I watched, or if my Disney Plus was glitching, but it had no subtitles at all. Like, I was translating as much as I could for the Japanese parts, but that's not much because my Japanese is very, very, very low. So, yeah. Space Battleship Tiramisu, a space comedy about mecha spacesuits and a boy who is obsessed with his cockpit because he likes to be by himself, which is very relatable. Onision in real life. I've been watching YouTubers for a very, very long time. Literally most of my life. So I knew Onision way back when, however, wasn't ever a fan of his. In fact, the first time I think I heard of him was his kiss to Shane Dawson back when I was one of Shane Dawson's fans. And I would highly recommend it to find out more of the things he has done. Silver Skates, an epic romance period piece, which is so gorgeous to look at, by the way. poor troubled boy and a rich girl who dreams of being a chemist. Gymnastic samurai. This show is amazing in every aspect. Probably my favorite thing on this list, honestly. I only decided to watch it because I was like, yes, a sports anime. But then it shocked me. First of all, our main character is a very, very, very fine Jotaro, I think is his name, Aragaki. Hui. This man is so fine, and he's so good. He's such a good dad. He's such a good person. We have a talking bird, a boy that is pretending to be a ninja. It's very funny and heartfelt. But at its heart, it's a gymnastics anime, and I love my sports anime.
Sorry. Really. Ray. Oh, Ray.
Get that clue, you doofus.
He's clueless. It's cute.
You got two.
Rachel, I'm so happy to see you indeed.
You creepy bitch.
Raya and the Last Dragon, the newest Disney princess movie. And this movie had such a good message throughout that I just cried off and on. The story goes about a magical dragon gem is stolen. Basically, it's broken, but pieces of it are stolen. So, and it releases what we're gonna call a curse that the dragons put away that turns everyone to stone. Raya finds a water dragon who basically fixes the problems and fixes the curse and fixes problems that Raya has with herself as well. It is a very gorgeous story. Amazing messages. Loki, similar to the continuation with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which ended amazing, by the way. Falcon is Captain America now, which I kind of thought was going to be the ending, but sometimes you never know. After Infinity War, when Loki takes the Tesseract in the story where they go back in time, this is where that story went, basically. It's where we find out where Loki went with the Tesseract. I actually hate the idea of the Timekeepers. I think messing with that is not a good thing for the Marvel Universe, but whatever. I honestly hate when shows or movies mess with the idea of time or time travel too much because it makes everything seem pointless because it can always be fixed. And I don't really like that trope, so I wish that they wouldn't have done this, but,
Well, I guess I should watch Loki.
As Miss Beelzebub liked it. Super adorable, actually. I watched it because of its pastel color palette. I thought it was gorgeous, and it was so cute looking. A fallen angel or demon, I can't remember what she is, who is obsessed with all things fluffy. A dark rabbit has 7 lives. So after falling in love as a child, our protagonist is basically immortal, as long as he only dies 6 times in 15 minutes, which apparently is hard for him to do. Bungo Stray Dogs. I finally got to this show, and I gained a new husband. Yes, does I. Yes, I love him. I finished the show and movie in like 2 days. It's very good.
Right, does I? Will you strangle me with these beautiful, delicate fingers, young miss? Were you listening to a single word I just said? What were the two of you doing before you joined the agency?
An attack from a dangerous suspect? Or did you get caught in a trap?
I got in myself. Well, you see, I read about this fascinating way to commit suicide by getting stuck in an oil drum, so I decided to give it a shot. Securing the feet is key. But now that I've managed to do that, I'm really just suffering. I wedged myself in pretty deep, and I can't get out on my own. I might die.
I see. So this is the way to commit suicide. You chose to do it and you think that it's working. I don't see what the problem is.
I like the idea of suicide, but I'm not at all interested in pain and suffering. What's that? Also, I only want to the fact that it isn't actually a form of suicide. More there.
Fairy Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, and I found out this is based on a manga while I was looking for pictures for this. So, this show is adorable, and the relationship is so cute. But technically, as a fellow virgin, I guess we could say, I will get wizard powers in 6 years, so that's cool. Wish Dragon. It's about a dragon that grants wishes, and it's actually very hilarious. This has more heart and plot than one would think. A Lego Brickumentary, a documentary all about Legos. Seeing what people create is amazing. I don't use Legos myself, but I respect people that do. Rosario, Rosario, I don't know, and Vampire. Your normal vampire harem show because the protagonist is a human. Modoc. Made in the style of Robot Chicken, if they even make that show anymore, I have no idea. I vaguely remember him mentioned in a comic book or two, way back when, but otherwise, he was a complete mystery to me. Modoc is a somewhat super genius villain, but not all evil. He's evil, but he's not like pure evil, you know, like sucking the bloods out of kittens kind of evil. But he wants to take over the world. That's his big thing he wants to do. It's more of a comedy about him proving himself than anything, but Modoc is trying to restore his marriage, which he's doing terrible at. Honestly, he's a terrible husband and dad, but you know. And he wants to take over the world as well. He does, however, do this after his past self kills his family, and he has a goal now that he wants to figure out how to get his family back and keep that he took over the world, because he wants both. Pretty sure he'll have to choose next season between the two, but you know. Tragic jungle. After a woman escapes her marriage, she flees into the jungle. Apparently, you find out she is some type of a jungle demon. I forgot what they called her. Lures in men to sleep with her before she basically leads them to their death. Sweet and Sour, an incredible love story that you think is all about the male lead, but no, it's not. It tricked me in the best ways. After two people fall out of love with each other, they both find people better suited for them. I love this, because the two choices are off better together, in my opinion. Panic, basically the same premise as Nerve, but toned way down. It takes place in a very small town, and let me tell you, this was based on a novel, like the best things always are. And they really nailed small town life to a T. And the personalities of people in small towns, because they always think that they're literally special because they live in a small town. Also, the way people dress, especially the boys, was so on point, it was hilarious. I grew up in a small town, trust me, it's hilarious how accurate all of this is. Skater Girl. In a small village, a woman on vacation decides to build a skate park to change the kids' lives, especially our main character, who actually gains respect from her dad. Girl from Nowhere. Nuno is a girl from nowhere, literally, appearing at random schools and bringing judgment upon cruel people everywhere she goes. She cannot die and literally laughs in the face of pain. Sailor Moon! Eternal, the movie. This movie is exactly what you'd expect from a Sailor Moon movie. Now, Chibiusa. Chibiusa. I'm so bad at names. Is way out of pocket having a crush on her dad. Like, ew, like what? Why? Girl, stop. By the way, they had no right making Mamoru and Haruka that fine for no reason. Seriously? Why did they do that? It was so hard. I couldn't do anything but watch them when they were on screen. Like, they were so fine. I don't know. Blood of Zeus. I love my Greek mythology, so this show was a real treasure for me to find. I enjoyed everything, but the main character was very worthless. Not worthless, but I just didn't enjoy him, and he kind of didn't add a lot to the plot. Even though he's Zeus' son. Like, how is that possible? I don't know. I couldn't become a hero, so I reluctantly decided to get a job. I didn't expect to love this as much as I did, especially since it said mature on it. I was like, oh god, here we go, it's gonna be really nasty. But no, it's not. It's just as it sounds. The Demon Lord has been defeated, so there's no need for heroes. So our hero basically works at an appliance store. When the Demon Lord's daughter starts working there, hilarity starts. Mess section. Susukagi Kiriki. I don't know. I heard this was going to make me cry. Sadly, it didn't. The ending is a little sad, but not sad enough to end the cute love story, so it's not that sad. Welcome home. This crap unlocked a new fear for me about traveling. This couple is trying to fix the relationship after she cheated, and with zero trust from either one of them, it proves that they shouldn't even be together. But whatever. It shouldn't even be worth saving at that point. They go to Italy, where the owner is recording them and putting it online for people to watch. Eventually, they kill him, but you see, they weren't the only ones. The Wailing. This was one of the most confusing horror movies I've ever seen. All I could pick up on was the dude, was causing a curse or something that happened, and the spirits around that area started taking over the villages. The effects were really good, though. Coca-Cola? I think, I don't know, I'm sorry. A girl and her family freeze time in order to save her brother and dad, and I believe I watched this at the very beginning of the month, so I'm not really sure about what else happened, but that's basically the premise. They stopped time. 2 hearts. Okay, yes, I cried, and I think everybody's crying about this thing right now. I get that they filmed it in this way because that's the way the story had to work. Like, I get it. But I didn't care for that part. It actually took me out of the movie, and I was easily able to pick apart that one of these relationships was not real. And I was right. Plus, the younger couple seemed so unreal that you find out they weren't real, so I was right. But, like, it was so unreal and unrealistic that you just knew it wasn't real. The girl and the gun. After being treated terribly by men around her and getting raped by a coworker, a woman basically turns it off and doesn't take crap from people, which I liked. That was my favorite part of the movie. She tracks down her rapist, but before shooting him, we see a whole story on the gun. And I mean a whole story. From it getting assembled all the way to when this happens. I mean like 40 minutes of just a story about the gun and how it got there. And I don't care. Like, I was like, just tell me the girl killed her rapist. And no, sadly, she did not. But I'm like, okay, I don't care about how the gun got here. Now for the news section. In another world with my smartphone. I've wanted to watch this since it came out. And sadly, it was only a good premise for like a little while, like the first 10 minutes. With the same isekai formula we always see, added with an OP character that's so perfect, it was kind of boring and didn't bring anything new. Maybe it was good for its time, but I've seen so many isekai since then that it didn't stand out to me and it just wasn't it. And it didn't get better to me, it just got worse.